Stop chasing. Listen, it is time for another banger video, okay? I want you to pay attention to this video. Give me about 5 to 6 minutes of your time, and I'm gonna show you how to make more money than you've ever made in your life, okay? The trend line is the friend line, okay? The trend is your friend. The trend line is a friend line. I want y'all to understand that and let that seep into your minds and your spirit. In this thing we call trading options, a lot of times we make things a little more difficult and complicated than they need to be. Why? Because our complex souls, for some reason, cannot bear boredom and simplicity. We feel like we're doing something wrong, when really we're doing the right thing, right? Mastery is really just simplification, right? Mastery is learning all these complex terms and being able to simplify it into something that is digestible for a child, okay? Now, when it comes to trading, there's a ton of strategies that we can use. Yeah, we got the order blocks. Yes, we have the strat method, right? Yes, we have the 15-minute orb strategy. We have the bull flags. We have the bear flags, right? We have the head and shoulders patterns. We have the piercing patterns. We have, reversals of all sorts. But what it really comes down to is the trend line being the friend line. All right? The trend line is who you lean on. The trend line is letting you know when a decision is being made. Now, when you first learn how to trade, right? You're learning how to trade, and you're learning the different candlestick anatomy, right? How the different candlesticks are made, what they represent, what they mean individually, and then what they mean as a collective and what they mean as a pattern, right? And then you learn that, okay, they go up to a resistance and then they change directions. They come down to a support, change directions. Now, what if I told you that a trend line was just slanted support and resistance? What if I told you that the real support was actually trend lines, because the only time that we're worried about a top and a bottom is when something is in a consolidated mode. Now, remember, stocks move up, down, and sideways. Why do we need to be so focused on sideways resistance and sideways support if the stock is on the move? What we want to do is we want to draw our resistance diagonally, right? We want to draw that trend line. When it's an uptrend, we want to attach 2 points of the lows. When it's a downtrend, we want to attach 2 points of the highs. And at the moment that we get a breach and a close, that is giving us very potent information. That is letting us know that it is our time to change directions. And not only are we going to change directions, but we're going to do so with force and momentum. Okay? This is going to allow you to catch banger after banger after banger and really get your money up. So later, for the days of overcomplicating things, try coupling some of these methods that you have with a simple trend line. Try not taking entry until we get a change of direction. Okay, I'm gonna hop into the charts real quick and I'm gonna show you some examples of just this, right? I'm gonna show you some examples of just how this works. So first example, I have Netflix, y'all. Look at Netflix. What do we have right here? A trend line that has been in place for 3 months, over 3 months. We got the closure outside of the trend line, and what does it do? It takes off. It takes off, and we are still in the thick of this play. This play should run all the way into the 90s. We're already up major on this, and we have this out until May, right? Another one. Let's go to Meta. Let's go to Meta. Hold on. I want y'all to really understand this. All right, let's go to Meta real quick. I want y'all to see what's going on. Meta, we took this today before closure, right? We already up 25% before the market closed, and we're swinging this, right? So this could be an even bigger, outcome by tomorrow. What did it do? Exactly what we said we're waiting for. We're waiting for a closure outside of the trend line, right? Netflix has a falling wedge. This is low-key a falling wedge, but the bottom part doesn't really matter. All we care about is this top part. You mean to tell me that you can, all the stuff that you've learned over the years, all you gotta do is add one little diagonal line and that can be the indication of so much money? When I'm taking trades here on live and calling these bangers where y'all getting 100+% on trades, all I'm doing is drawing a line. It's simple. Not saying easy, but understanding price action and understanding that the turn, right? That pivot point is when the most money is able to be made because you're catching it at the early start. Your risk to reward is higher. Okay. So we got this line drawn. We took it. We're up 25%. We should see this get up to at least 677. All right. Again, I'm gonna go back to Netflix because it's something I want y'all to understand about it. Right. This is what I mean about patterns, right? So on Netflix, this is a falling wedge, right? We got the double, right? We got the whole channel, right? So double trend lines. But again, this part doesn't matter. So what happens is sometimes we start talking about patterns and people get a little confused. They're like, oh man, I never run this trading stuff. It's not about the patterns. It's about the direction. And what is telling you the direction? The trend line. The trend line is the friend line, right? The trend line is going to let you know what it is. It's loyal. It's going to let you know, nah, it's not time yet. Nah, I got you. I'll let you know when it crossed me, that's when you go, right? The trend line is the friend line. Get it in your dome. All right. I'm really trying to drive this message home for you guys. All right. Start drawing trend lines on every time frame. Any sort of strategy that you're using, any approach that you're using to the market, couple it with trend lines. And I'm telling you, it's going to take your trading to a whole nother level. How do you draw a trend line? Simple. You take two connecting points. If you are drawing an uptrend, you want to make sure that you're connecting the lower lows and the lower highs. Okay. The lower lows and the lower highs, meaning that you're drawing the trend line under the stocks. If you are doing a downtrend, it's the higher highs and the higher lows. You're drawing the trend line across the top. Okay. You only need two connecting points for a line. All right. That's basic math. Two connecting points form a line. So find two connecting points and draw it down as far as you want at that slope. Now the curvature, not the curvature, but the steepness of the trend line is going to let you know about how fast that trend can go. All right. Something that's more steeply slanted is usually going to have bigger moves, especially when it rejects off of a trend line. So if something is in a downward slope, right, it has a very steep downward trend and it tries to go up and it attempts and then it fails at that trend line, a lot of time it's going to pick up crazy speed because of how sloped that trend line is. Same to the upside. Well, what's even better is not catching it in the same direction, but catching it in the opposite direction once it's exhausted itself. You catch a trend line like we did here off a bullish order block, off a closing above that trend line, you get a move like we got today in Netflix and it ain't nowhere near done. All right. The trend line is the friend line. I'm going to come back over here. I need you guys to understand this. The trend line is the friend line. Lean on it, rely on it, work with it, get familiar with it, study it. Draw trend lines all over your charts historically and current day so that you can see how things worked out. When you start to see this and you watch it like you an athlete studying film, you're going to understand that this is going to help you slow the game down so much so that you can make better decisions. All right. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, man, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button so we can get into the algorithm because we got too many people that's relying on people that just want their money and not really teaching them the game. All right. I'm not gatekeeping any information. I'm giving you everything that I know so that you can become a better trader and grow both professionally and personally. All right. It's always love over here. I hope this video was helpful. Again, man, let's get it into the algorithm. Join my lives every Thursday, 11:30 Pacific, 2:30 Eastern AM, right? Because we still got some time for the market to close. That's how we get these banger trades every day. All right. Remember, invest smart so you can live free. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.